It's just another normal evening in Pattaya, or what looks normal. For almost 2 years during the coronavirus pandemic, the capital of sex tourism was all but shut down. Now the red light's back on. Wolfgang Rill, 74, is out with Tick, 45. He met her in a bar.
In Deutschland,
When you see a hooker, a prostitute in Germany, you pay twice or 3 times as much and get half the service, or even less.
But there isn't any prostitution here officially.
These girls here aren't really prostitutes. They call themselves bar girls.
There are around 60,000 sex workers in Pattaya. is one of them. She says that 4 years ago she had a relationship with a German man and got pregnant. He left her. She works as a prostitute to earn a living for herself and her family.
What I would like most is to get out of the job. But what should I do? There's no work at all in my village. The corona lockdown just made everything even worse. I've got to earn money before I can leave here.
We looked into the dark side of the red light industry, and we followed signs that not just sex tourists, but German pedophiles have returned to Pattaya since the city reopened after the COVID-19 pandemic. Wolfgang Rill and his current escort are at the beach in Pattaya. She introduces herself as Tick. He wouldn't say he's a sex tourist as much as a Pattaya lover. Wolfgang has made a name for himself as the author of books telling erotic tales of Thailand. And unlike most other German men, he has no problem speaking about it openly in front of our camera. Tick agreed to be filmed as well.
Okay.
Wolfgang's been coming to Pattaya for decades. Why? Sometimes even he finds it difficult to explain.
Was ist es eigentlich?
What is it really that's so fascinating about this? I could say the girls here are more feminine, friendlier. They're more affectionate and smile more. They simply enjoy life more than women do in Germany.
But it's clear to both sides that this is a business relationship, right?
I think it's not just a business relationship. There's still the other side, the side with feelings. And they have to be there too, or the whole thing wouldn't work.
Tick, do you see it the same way? Is it like a business a little bit, or how do you think about it? You can also answer in Thai language if you like.
Tick prefers to remain silent.
Yeah. What's about money? Money very important? Okay.
She barely speaks English.
Yes, and I was just about to say that obviously communication is pretty limited, so it's difficult to speak of a relationship between equals.
Ja, sie spricht ziemlich miserabel Englisch, aber
Yeah, her English is pretty awful, but we're working on it. And she's very diligent. I'm teaching her.
bring's ihr bei. Und
And it's surprising how few words or how little speech you need to have in a relationship like
mit
this.
wie wenig Vokabeln oder mit wie wenig Reden man so eine Beziehung führen.
We're actually supporting the women of Isan, women who live in poverty and would otherwise be working in rice paddies.
Und auf dem Reisfeld schaffen müssten, andernfalls.
In northern Thailand.
Auf der anderen Seite sind wir.
And don't forget, we are the people who keep the system running, who keep prostitution alive.
Die Prostitution am Leben halten.
Prostitution as a form of developmental aid? Wolfgang says he doesn't really have any ethical qualms about that. He's fine with an older man paying for love and sex with a younger woman, as long as both sides profit. But he's also got a request.
Habt Erbarmen mit den Männern.
Have pity on the men.
Ja. Es wird sehr viel
A great deal has been said about the dark sides of prostitution in Germany too.
Der Prostitution auch in Deutschland gesprochen.
That it's always bad for the women.
Schlimm immer für die Frauen.
But how bad is it for an older man who is lonely, who doesn't have anyone and doesn't have sex anymore? And that in a world that's obsessed with sex.
In einer sexbesessenen, sexbetonten Welt.
Hardly anybody speaks about how terrible that kind of life is.
Wird eigentlich weniger
So have pity on the men as well.
Also habt Erbarmen mit den Männern eben auch.
Should we take pity on the women too? Because the job they do is genuinely tough. It's not just smiles and pleasantness.
From what I've seen here in Thailand, it isn't as tough as you think. They have lots of fun. They laugh a lot and do things, take trips, sit on a motorbike, and drive around or meet friends. Where's the disaster in that? I really don't see that here in
Wo
Thailand.
ist da jetzt die Katastrophe? Also ich kann sie hier für Thailand nicht unbedingt so sehen.
Has been a sex worker for 10 years. She tells us there was one time she almost managed to get out of the business. A client took her to Germany 4 years ago and promised her a future together. But when became pregnant, he sent her back to Thailand, promising he would soon follow. As soon as she got on the plane, he changed his phone number and email address, she says.
I came back to Thailand when I was 5 months pregnant, and he simply vanished. I don't know why, but he refused to accept any kind of responsibility at all.
How did you feel?
Terrible. Since then, I've hated men from Germany. I know they're not all like that, but when a client comes into a bar and we start talking,
where you from? I'm from Germany. Oh no, goodbye.
Not that I've got something against every one of them, but I've learned my lesson. And I've got one request. Don't judge us for our work. We're not robbing anyone. We're just doing our job. True, it's against the law, but that's no reason to treat us disrespectfully.
Works in various bars where she looks for new clients. The fact that sex work is illegal causes a lot of problems. Most of the women don't have health insurance, and during the pandemic lockdown, sex workers were barred from all government aid programs. And that in a country where the sex industry is estimated to bring in billions in annual revenue and account for a considerable percentage of the gross domestic product. Says on some nights you can earn good money, but on most it's dismal.
Many demand to do it without a condom, and 2 or 3 of them will want to sleep with one woman. That's humiliating for a Thai woman, and sometimes clients ask for sexual practices that I reject. Not all men are like that, but many are.
No current statistics are available, but older estimates indicate that every year 400,000 German men fly halfway around the globe for cheap sex. Thailand is the main destination. In Pattaya, there's even a German quarter, Naklua, where there's a German-speaking lawyer and a schnitzel restaurant. The Bramburi restaurant is run by a German owner, Thomas Zeeland from Hamburg. He's been in Thailand for 15 years and is well connected.
That's the Crown Prince of Thailand.
The Crown Prince of Thailand was one of your guests?
Der war zu Besuch bei Ihnen?
No, I've been cooking for him regularly for 3 or 4 years. He lives in Germany, in Munich. And whenever he comes with his friends and employees, I'm his German cook, and I travel with him. So that's a very nice photograph I was permitted to take with him. That's quite unusual. You normally aren't allowed to take a picture with him.
Man darf eigentlich kein Foto mit ihm machen.
To us, it seems as if Thomas feels like an ambassador for Pattaya, tasked with defending the city's image.
Many think this is the world's biggest whorehouse, but it's not. There's far more to Pattaya. The erotic scene in Pattaya no longer makes up the whole city. Instead, it's restricted to 3 relatively small areas. But if I don't go there, then I don't see it.
gar nicht hingehe, dann erlebe ich das nicht.
But it certainly dominates the downtown district. No matter where you look, there are bars with girls sitting and waiting.
Ja gut, aber die Mädchen
Yes, fine, but the girls here, or in Asia generally, wear fewer clothes because of the heat. That doesn't necessarily have to do with prostitution. Even their school uniforms include short skirts because it's so hot and schools don't have air
weil
conditioning.
auch in den Schulen keine Aircon ist. Also
But you can't tell me there aren't any prostitutes in Pattaya.
es gibt nur Freundinnen.
Only girlfriends. There aren't any prostitutes. The difference legally is that a prostitute names a certain price for a service ahead of time. That only happens here on rare
Man
occasions.
hier ganz, ganz selten erleben.
But it's still paying for sex, right?
Mit Sicherheit, ja.
Yes, certainly. But that's fine. Everyone should get to live their life the way they choose. The best thing that's happened in the 15 years I've been in Thailand is that this isn't happening with children anymore. That's good. 15 years ago, that was the biggest problem. But not anymore.
Das größte Problem, aber das gibt es nicht mehr.
Is that true? Even at first glance, we have our doubts. Walking Street is the main amusement thoroughfare in Pattaya. Employees from a private child protection organisation are doing their rounds today. During peak tourist season, they try to speak with sex workers and tourists regularly.
Can you speak English? Certainly can. What can I do for you? Okay, we are from Human Health Network Foundation, and recently we have been reported with the crime against the children. So if you see any suspicious activities against the children, if you think that children might be forced to work during the nighttime with the unpleasant environment, you can alert the authority here.
That's very good of you.
Sawadee krab. Can I have a few moments of your time? You speak English?
So what we hear a lot